All right, guys, it's Sunday night, February 22nd. Just going to go through some of the charts, just kind of winging it here. I'm going to go through some of the charts like I normally do and just kind of think out loud as I go. A couple big things happening heading into this week. The uh, the tariff situation. So obviously, the Supreme Court ruled certain tariffs that Trump put on as illegal. I personally think that this is getting a little bit overblown because the majority of the tariffs that he was able to put on under Section 302 and another rule that those were not ruled unconstitutional. So only a certain percentage of the tariffs that he put on were ruled illegal, and he's already put new tariffs on to replace those under another statute that I'm probably is going to get challenged as well. So I think it's mostly just noise. We'll see what happens, but I'm not too concerned about those tariffs. The other thing is we have some chaos going down in Mexico right now, where the major cartel leader was killed, apparently by the Mexico army or military, rather, with potentially some help from the U.S. government. Um, Interesting thing about Mexico is they're actually the number one, I believe, number one, maybe two. Peru's a pretty big producer of silver as well, but I think Mexico is actually the number one producer of silver. Um, Either way, it's a very large producer of silver, and silver obviously at very high levels right now. We had a great finish to last week in silver, and so we're going to take a little bit of a look at that. Um, what else? I feel like I'm missing. Oh, and Nvidia has earnings this week, so those will be interesting as well. My prediction for the Nvidia earnings is that they beat, but the stock drops anyway. So either on guidance or, um, you know, because there's something with the quarterly report that they don't like. The market doesn't like. So I'm very bearish technology for the time being and probably for quite a while. I posted this on Twitter the other day, but the thing with AI is I've been saying it for a long time, and I think that the capital expenditures are going to continue to increase. I don't think these estimates are these companies are done raising these estimates, and you know what's happening with the software sell-off, these capital expenditure um, increases is AI is creating really question marks across a lot of sectors of the economy. It doesn't know, is it going to replace some of these software stocks? Is it not? You know, I think there's legitimate concern there. I also think that, Michael Burry had a tweet out the other day, I think either today or yesterday, saying, at what point at what point are these capital expenditures going to be enough? And they haven't really made a clear answer to that. There hasn't been a really clear explanation to that. And so, I think that right now the plan is to just build out these data centers and this energy infrastructure as fast as possible, and just see what happens. I mean, I think there's just legitimate questions about how much money this is going to require. I think they're gonna. I think it's going to end up being a lot more than what they're even saying now. So, and then on the software side, again, I mean, AI. I use it a lot. The new Claude, in my opinion, is terrific. I've been using it almost every day at work to do things that would take people on my team or myself sometimes hours to do. So, and there's even a software that we use in the insurance industry that now is completely irrelevant. There's no point in having it, and that's all thanks to the new. That's it's been made obsolete by AI. So, I think we're still in the early stages of this. The technology is going to continue to advance, and I think once again, AI is bringing into question everything. What is it going to replace? How much is it going to cost? These are huge question marks that I think are going to hang over the economy for quite a long time. The only thing that is certain about AI is that we are going to need a lot more energy. And so I think that is where people are going to start rotating. Investors are going to start rotating. Capital is going to start rotating over the course of the next medium to long term. So I think it's already starting. And with energy, that's not just energy. That's going to be all the materials and the minerals and the metals that go into it too. So that's how I'm looking at the economy. That's how I'm looking heading into this week. So let's get a little bit into it. Silver. A lot of people thought silver was going to have a bigger pullback. I was saying on Twitter that I was seeing a wedge pattern playing out. I saw down here, right here, this was, again, I made a video on crypto. This is a pivot right here, right at support. This is a bullish, a bullish pivot candlestick, and it did a couple things here. So it asserted that this $72 range here, $71 range rather, is pretty strong support. And then it also, when it started to form this wedge pattern here that I drew out on Twitter, a little while ago, and then this past week, it broke out of it. I don't know why I have that here. Let's delete that. So, silver. It's funny. I've been telling everyone that will listen that silver is going to do, of my friends and family, that silver is going to do crazy things for a long time. And obviously, it finally got the media attention when it went up, had this run here, and then everyone thought it was over. And I was saying that it is not over. There's going to be volatility in silver, but this was to me a falling wedge, and we broke out, and now we're running again. I think silver is going to go back to 120 at least in the short term, and I think the miners. What needs to happen for the miners, and that's how you get leverage with silver. That's how I'm primarily playing this. I own a little bit of precious metals, but the vast majority of my silver exposure is in the exploration companies, the producers, and the mining companies. So silver. And then tonight we have it's up 2.3% already. And it's right at this 20-day moving average. So hopefully we can take that out. And again, I think in the short term, probably over the next week or two, we're going to hit 120. So, if I had to bet, I think it's going to be this week. But I would prefer that it wasn't. I would prefer just to grind higher rather than, and maybe just, maybe stair step higher than just one blow off candle, because, if it stair steps higher, that allows us to build some support. So silver looks good to start the week. Gold as well. I think gold and silver are going to lead the market this week, and precious metals in general. They're all doing the same thing. Gold, silver, pretty similar pattern. Came up, had this big sell off. Gold came up, had this big sell-off. Platinum came up, had this big sell-off. This is all in the same day, these fat candlesticks here. Copper had this big sell-off. And then what happened? Chopped around, gained support, built some support here. And actually, gold gold, this not really even a wedge pattern. Gold just it got hammered down, and then it just started stair stepping higher, like it never happened. Gold just very resilient. I mean, honestly, looked even better than silver. Silver, the the encouraging sign for me was that we were clearly building some strong support at the $71 range, and then I saw this wedge pattern playing out. Gold didn't really do that. Gold just again, it got hammered and then just continued marching forward, continued marching up and to the right. So gold looks good. Copper, very bullish on copper. I have been building my position in copper. A lot of people thought copper did not look good. Even long-term bulls in copper thought that it looked poor, and it doesn't look as good as gold and silver or platinum, in my opinion. But I do think that copper is going to continue to grind higher as well. And the reason I think this is mainly because the miners look really good, which we'll get. I'm going to jump over to them right now. So even gold had, again, just kind of stair stepped higher, but the miners, the mining companies for gold at GDXJ, that had a little bit, I mean, pretty similar, to be honest, actually. I mean, but it's very similar to GDXJ, or sorry, to SILJ and GDXJ, but very clearly had this closed right at this support structure, or the support line here, which was its previous all-time high. And a couple weeks ago, there was a broad sell-off across the entire market. It was exactly 2 weeks ago, where everything sold off. And then it closed the week that Friday. So 2 Fridays ago, which was this week right here, Friday, February 6th, exactly right here. So, and I did a long post. It's currently pinned on my Twitter account right now, but I did a long post about how everything sold off the entire week. That's right here, this whole week here. But then Friday, it bounced back. And the difference was the commodity complex, gold, silver. Here's silver. Again, let's go February 6th right here. Same candle, same deal. They all closed above support, while a lot of the technology companies closed below support. And so what I expect to continue to happen is, and I said at the time, commodities to continue to go up, and then a lot of the technology companies to run a little bit in the short term, but then run into what was previous support, now resistance, and then roll over. So I expect that to continue to happen. GDXJ, SILJ, looking fantastic. COPX, I'm going to go down to COPX real quick. Again, it looks very similar. But it's gold and silver are the leaders. Gold's the main leader in the metals complex, and then silver usually comes after that, and then third is copper. And you can see copper is just trailing a little bit here. It hasn't completely broke out of this falling wedge like silver has. You see silver had this close here, and then we got confirmation, another candlestick outside of that. Copper, though, switch back to it. You see that? I think this week, hopefully tomorrow or the next day, we get another clear, fat green candlestick and a close that convinces us that we are breaking out of this falling wedge. So I'm very bullish copper. I mean, this is an excellent, excellent candlestick here. This was the open, and then this was the close, and it was a pretty strong close, not much wick at the top. So metals look very good going into the week. FCX. I've been playing FCX since it was in the the $30 range. Had a great option that I made a lot of money on, about 700%, that I started in November and just sold a couple weeks ago. I do have another call option that I bought on FCX that's a little bit longer term that I'm currently playing now. So FCX looks very similar to COPX. And again, hopefully we can get some follow through on these two green candlesticks, break out of this falling wedge, and I think then we're off to the races. This would be, I mean, we're getting close to not just breaking. If we do break and get confirmation past this falling wedge, then I mean we're going to be looking at a potentially closing at an all-time high in FCX. So I think FCX investors should be getting excited about that. Here's some other copper companies, but I'm going to go into some individual companies in a second. But first, I want to look at uranium. Uranium, again, I mean, all these ETFs in the commodity sectors look exactly the same. They're all breaking out. URNM, I have call options currently doing well on those. This is broken out of its falling wedge. I mean, this is going higher. This looks fantastic. And you see what happened here. Again, was February 6th, February 5th. This is the candle on February 6th. Man, I'm going to retweet, my thesis that I made on this day, February 6th, the very next day on February 7th, which is right before this green candlestick day, was when I said all of these commodity ETFs finishing the day above support and did a beautiful bounce off the previous all-time high. And now you have URNM doing a continuation to the upside. So this is the previous all-time high up here, $84. I think we get there and we probably break above that. Most likely what's going to happen, I think my price target on URNM right now, let's extend this. I mean, we're gonna hit this line, and hopefully it just grinds higher. I don't want to see a one giant move up. I don't like, people love to see the parabolic moves, but when you get that parabolic move up, you're gonna get that parabolic move down. What's a better scenario is just a strong, steady, grind higher. Allow buyers to step in. Allow the chart to build areas of support, so that when you do get pullbacks, they're not as big. So URN looks fantastic. Uranium looks fantastic. Probably, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens before the next serious pullback that we're going to get is probably going to be after we tag this line. So we'll see when that is. URA not looking as good, but interestingly enough, I mean, this might be an opportunity to buy URA. And so URNM has more of the mining companies that have been doing a lot better. The companies like CCJ, UUUU, EU, DNN. What else does it have? UEC. So these are the actual producers. URA has a lot of the nuclear tech names, or at the very least, it has Oklo, which has been getting pounded. But Oklo, interestingly, no, Oklo. So I had a bad trade on Oklo. I bought this inverse head and shoulders. I thought was a great opportunity, and then it just actually right here is where I put a trade on Oklo. It looked like with this inverse head and shoulders, and then right here it looked like it was breaking out of this falling wedge. And I was getting very excited on Oklo, and then it just got hammered. So this line, honestly, I just drew this. This is not. I mean, we did have a little bit of a pivot here. Yeah, maybe this trend line will hold. I don't know. I don't think. I wouldn't touch Oklo. I do hold it. I got an Oklo back when it was $6, and I've just been holding. I've taken some profits along the way. Obviously, in hindsight, I wish I sold everything up here, but I mean, long term, I do think eventually we are going to get back It's as close to these all-time highs. It's just a matter of it might take a while. So, but anyway, that's why URA does have a large position in Oklo. So that's why this one has been trailing URNM. But overall, it does look good. I do think it's going to continue upward. And honestly, if you want to put maybe tomorrow I'll do an options. This actually is a pretty good position here to take out to buy some call options. So I might actually do that with URA tomorrow, just to show some people that are not familiar with options a little bit about what my strategy is and how I would do it. So we'll take a look at that. CCJ, the company is a beast. This is. I don't think I said this at the time. I've been saying it for a long time, but CCJ is the closest thing to a sure thing in the stock market right now. I mean, it has almost a monopoly on the uranium supply in North America. Anyway, that looks fantastic. We have a double bottom here. We have a falling wedge breakout. I mean, that looks awesome. I have call options on CCJ, and you know what? That's another good call. If I was someone interested in learning options, this spot right here on CCJ, I would buy some call options on CCJ. I have bought them. I bought them actually early last week, like more like right here, I think. But now is a much safer bet to buy them. So, and honestly, probably the more prudent position to buy them. I sometimes jump the gun on options buying, and I have gotten burned by buying it too early before. So, this is actually a pretty safe place to buy it. So CCJ, so uranium looks good, silver looks great, gold looking good. I mean, the commodity complex heading into this week looks fantastic. I'm going to try to look for some stocks that, I got asked by a friend what he would, if I was just putting in 10,000 into the market and I didn't have any positions, what would I do? And, so I'm going to try to look for some opportunities here. Highcroft Mining. I mean, this company is an absolute beast. Eric Sprott, who's a world famous commodity investor. I think he owns like 40% of this company now. He's just been buying the hell out of this company. And I think Highcroft Mining is probably going to go. I think. Let me see. I want to look at I'm going to look at these silver names. If I didn't have any silver exposure, this is not usually where I buy silver. I've been on board the macro thesis for silver for a long time. So I don't like buying things when they're mid-run. But I mean, they did just break the SILJ, which is the mining ETF, which holds a lot of these companies in it, is just breaking out. And, I do think it's going to get back to this all-time high. So, I mean, I think the silver mining companies have a pretty long runway in front of them. So, let's just go through these. I own all of these names. Aftermath Silver, this is a more riskier play. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It's had a hard time breaking out of this ascending channel. I think we probably go, and we're getting back to this line at the very least in all these companies in the near term future. This is Southern Silver. Again, Southern Silver and Aftermath Silver are my junior exploration companies that I own that are, more speculative plays. But I think Southern Silver, I mean, Southern Silver, yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna, I hate telling, I'm not telling anyone to buy anything, but I hate saying that I would buy something here. I did actually add into this position right here. So, I think Southern Silver, listen, all these stocks, AG, all-time high close on AG. I mean, this thing is going to run now. And hopefully we can build support right here and then get another leg higher. What's going to most likely happen is it's going to run and then, hopefully we can get another update tomorrow and then just build some support at this all-time high. And then this becomes support. So, Hecla Mining, this is okay. All right. So Hecla Mining has been lagging. I think people weren't happy with their earnings for some reason. I forgot what exactly the problem was, but I mean, this is a stock. The problem is if silver is up, it's going to be interesting to see if you're trying to get some silver exposure right now. And honestly, they're not, I mean, this thing is, let's see, all-time high was 33. And was it? Yeah, I think it's his all-time high. All-time high was 33. Right now it's at 23. Yeah, I mean, I think it has 50% upside near term. I do. So, I think, like, if you really want to be part of this silver and you want some silver exposure, I would buy Hecla Mining. I would throw a little bit of money on Southern Silver exploration. I wouldn't buy AG. The problem is some of these stocks, I mean, who knows? I mean, tomorrow morning, these things could open up 10%, 5 to 10% at the open. So EXK, I mean, this thing is probably going to go to $16 in the short to medium term. So that's 33% upside. CDE, one of my largest positions. This looks fantastic. So it just closed this gap. This is kind of interesting. So it just closed this gap. Right here. I mean, whenever I do, I love doing technical analysis because it's so funny. People say that it doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at how exact this is. It literally closed exactly where the closing was last time before it gapped down. I mean, it's so funny. So, I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this thing, I mean, is it getting back to up here? Yes, it is getting back up to there. Does CDE maybe have a bloody nose tomorrow? Maybe. We'll see. Pan American Silver. If I was just getting into if I didn't have any silver exposure and I wanted some, I would not buy this one. I mean, it looks fantastic. It's a safer play, but I don't think it is. The upside on this one isn't as much as the others, in my opinion. So, Highcroft Mining, man, this was down. That's pretty crazy. This thing was actually down. I mean, this is a gift, in my opinion. This is, if I didn't have any silver exposure, I would buy Highcroft Mining. I would try to get. I mean, again, I don't know what it's going to open at, but I would try to get this thing as close to where it's at now. So I would buy Highcroft Mining. I think Highcroft Mining is going to go In the short to medium term, up to $77. Um, so I mean that's this thing could go. You know, you might Highcroft Mining might go up 100% in the very near future. There's a lot of short interest on this stock too. So Highcroft Mining, I would buy that. I would buy Hecla, and I'd throw a small speculative position on Southern Silver. That's what I would do if I really wanted to get into the silver space right now. And I mean, to be honest, there's Brooke Rule, a legendary commodity investor. You know, he recently bought silver miners, and he might even be, because he sold silver at the top, which was right around here, and at that point he was buying miners, so he might be in the red on some of the recent positions that he bought. Um, but that doesn't mean overall he's owned these companies for a long time. He's definitely still in the green, I would assume. But the point is, some of his most recent positions, based on, I'm just speculating, based on interviews I've heard him give, he might be in the red a little bit. So anyway, it's not the worst time to get into silver miners. I do think there's still opportunity. So we'll see what happens there. Again, I mean, uranium, I'm very bullish on. I'd probably buy UUU, looks good. Um, if I had 12 grand, I'd probably buy some call options in CCJ. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, uranium looks really good. I mean, all these uranium companies, UROY, it's just grinding along its uptrend, along its uptrend. This looks good. We're going to get back to this area and then break out in time. I mean, I don't know how fast that will happen for UROY. Right now, I think the immediate opportunity in the very short term is probably where you're gonna see more torque is silver, but I mean, uranium looks great too. Copper, I'd wait to see this break out. I mean, I think it's going to. It's just that, I don't like buying up here. I mean, it's at its all-time highs. Let me see. I probably wouldn't buy if I didn't have a position already in copper. Well, I know I take it back. I would maybe buy Ivanhoe Electric. I'd be looking at this one. This is a good opportunity on Ivanhoe, and I have been buying it. So I'd wait for a couple confirmation candles if you have limited funds to get to unload. But I think this is a great opportunity to buy this. This is just steady as she goes. We're going higher with Ivanhoe. What else? Chemical companies got knocked around a little bit last week, but we're just they still look good. This is Trox. That's a nasty candlestick. Broke below its 20-day. You'll probably test the 50-day. But I mean, overall, I think these trends are not broken. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, we'll let the charts develop a little bit more, but you know, chemical companies look. I wouldn't buy anything at this immediate moment, but I'd keep my eye on them. Space stocks. I did a separate video I just posted tonight on space stocks, so I'm not gonna get into it any further in this video. Natural gas is also up tonight. Very volatile sector, very bullish on natural gas long term, but it's so volatile. You know, if you want to put a trade on for Comstock Resources, I can give you a price target. Yeah, I mean, Comstock Resources is going to go. It's going to be up tomorrow. Comstock Resources is probably going to tag $23 about. It could break out, but I would say near term price target on Comstock Resources is $23. So if this thing opens up tomorrow morning with it didn't really fill that gap. We didn't get a close there. I mean, yeah. We'll see what Comstock looks like tomorrow. If Comstock Resources has a muted open, I might throw a call option. If I did buy a call option with Comstock Resources, right now it's at about $20. I think it's going to go to $23. So I would buy a call option for $21, expiring within probably 30 to 45 days. That's what I would do with Comstock Resources. But VG, I've been waiting for this thing to fill this gap for a while, and it just hasn't done it yet. I do have call options on it. I also own equity. So it'll be interesting to see when this happens. I think it will happen eventually. And you're looking at 30% upside in VG for when that does happen. In the short to medium term, I think that is going to happen. So look at some tech stops and some crypto. Well, I actually did a video on crypto earlier today too, that I just posted. So we'll just look at some tech here, and then I'm going to wrap it up. AMD. So this is what I was talking about earlier in the video. All of the commodity ETFs closed above support when we had that Friday sell-off right here, February 6th. February 6th is when, zoom in closer. So this whole week, commodities sold off, and so did the whole market did. And this Green Friday, again, the entire market was green that Friday, February 6th. But the commodities, every one of them closed above support. So theoretically, they would have closed somewhere in here. AMD closed below support. And now what I see is a downtrend starting to form. This is a double top on AMD and a downtrend. NVIDIA earnings this week. We'll see what happens. Let's look at, let's see here. What do I want to look at? Oh, Palantir. So Palantir, let's look for that February 6th day. I mean, Palantir got hammered actually more than even a lot of other stocks that week. I think they may have had earnings. Actually, I think their earnings were the week before. Either way, it doesn't matter. Again, closed below this trend line, and it's a sinking ship right now. Dropping like a stone. Uber, again, also below this downtrend. It could get maybe a relief rally back to the $80 range or so, but then it's going to roll over some more, in my opinion. Tesla, I sold all my Tesla Um, maybe I will buy back in at some point. I do think I'm very bullish Elon overall, but in the near term, I just think the CapEx spending is not something that I want to be have exposure. I want exposure to it, but I want to have exposure to where that CapEx money is going, not where it's flowing out of. So, so Tesla, I don't think it looks good. I think we're in a downtrend. Um, snow, snow, same deal. I don't want anything to do with it. Um, I'll tell you one stock that is interesting is Amazon. Amazon did get pummeled that week when everyone else did. Um, However, Amazon did not close below its downtrend line. And I am very, very bullish Amazon long term. I am looking at opportunities to buy in either my IRA or a long term portfolio. You see how it looked like it was going to break below this trend line, but then it quickly recaptured it. So maybe we fill this gap here. And I think the CapEx is still going to hurt Amazon, but they are they're positioned as well as anybody to benefit from AI and autonomy. So I think Amazon is long term. If you want to just stuff money away, not the worst time to buy this, and then just basically use it as a long term savings account. I I have a lot of I'm a more aggressive investor slash trader, so I'm not doing anything with Amazon right now. I personally hope that it does break this line and go down a lot further and give us a better buying opportunity. So, um, Meta also, like Amazon, did maintain its uptrend. So Meta looks interesting. Maybe it had a false breakout here. It's still in this downtrend. So this is going to be the decision point right here once it gets to the end of this this wedge pattern. So usually those break up, but the odds are that it breaks up, but sometimes it does go down. And with technical analysis, that's really all we're doing. We're just we're playing the odds. If you're playing blackjack, you want to bet the odds. You have a 16, you're going to hit on that. At least you better if you're at my table. But you're going to hit on a 16, sometimes a 16 against a 10, rather. If the dealer's showing a 10, you're hitting on a 16. Why? Because you're most likely going to lose. Now, sometimes a 5 might be the next card and you would have won, but the odds are that you will lose. The odds are that 16 is a losing hand. So, technical analysis is not foolproof, but it does give us, it does tell us what the odds are. So, last thing I want to comment on before I wrap it up here is Apple. So Apple is very interesting because first of all, Apple is in its current uptrend. Although I don't like this. This is a higher low. But Apple has not gotten hammered like the other hyperscalers. And the reason being is Amazon isn't hyperscaling. Amazon, the CapEx, and you could look it up, or it's somewhere on my Twitter, but the CapEx spending for Apple has been drastically less than the other companies. And basically what Amazon or Apple is doing is they're making a bet that they can just implement AI. They don't need to develop their own. And I think it's time will tell, but I think it's a savvy move for Apple, especially considering their hardware and their products are already have an incredible moat around them. And I think that it's not a company that can be replaced with. It's not they're a software. They're not a software company. They're a hardware company. They do have some software, but Again, it's not really products that I see AI replacing. So I think Apple is just they're playing it safe, but I think it's also a smart move. So we'll see what happens. I do think of all the big Magnificent Seven, long term, my favorite is Amazon. I think the safest one is Apple. Um, but I mean, this is decision time here on Apple. We'll see what happens. It's got to hold this line. I mean, ultimately I do think Apple rolls over too with the rest of technology, but um, I think it's a little bit more insulated compared to the rest of the Magnificent Seven and probably the rest of the Nasdaq in general. So, all right, I'm gonna end it there. Uh, hopefully, there's some good tidbits in there for folks. Good luck to everybody this week in the markets. Take care.